Okay, I'm happy to see all of you. Let me check the settings if you can see me as well. Okay. Okay. Anyway, my camera is on here, and I guess you also can see the slides. So let's start. My name is Alex. I'm a research professor in ITMO University, the university in Russia, and I'm doing my research on social media analytics, especially for marketing. I also work in a company called Samin.ai, where I also head in the research department there. I'm happy to wish everybody good morning and also good afternoon and also good evening. For some of you, it might be even a good night. That's the map of all attendees. We get a lot of interest into this webinar, and I'm really happy to see all of you here. So this is a free webinar, and we're really looking in Samin, we are really looking to bring a knowledge to you, to help you to understand a little bit better the AI, the marketing, and other topics we will be highlighting in this series. What you could help us to do is to fill in our feedback form and basically give you feedback so we can also improve and do better seminars in the future. I also have a little perk for everybody. So if you will stay to the end and you will stay with us, you will get the free ebook that calls The Marketer's Guide on AI-Driven Influencer Marketing and Long-Tail Targeting. This is ebook was written by me, and it goes a bit deeper into the topic of this seminar. So if you find it that this is relevant to you, if you found that this is something that you are interested, then you can also get the book to study a little bit further. We haven't disabled your chat, so you can ask questions in the chat. I'll do my best to respond to these questions. You can also stop me anytime, and I will be happy to respond to your questions during the seminar. But let's keep the oral questions for one per person, and let's try to have an answer to the question and the question itself within 1 minute, so we can still be in a scope of our webinar, which is going to be 2 hours. Finally, we also broadcast this webinar into YouTube. So in the chat, you can all see there's a link to YouTube webinar. You can use this link to watch it. You can forward this link to your friends as well in case you don't have Zoom, or you have troubles having Zoom, or they have troubles having Zoom and starting it. So let's start. What we're going to discuss today. So we're going to talk about these 6 key moments related to social media in general, but also related to social media marketing and AI. So how does all this ecosystem works? What's the difference between the past approach and what's happening nowadays? What has been changed in the world so much so that we all need to address this, and we all need to take care of this new technology shifts. Basically, if you look at this overall, you will see that there is a drastic technological shift, and we all live in this new era of information age, right? So we not just operate by text, we not just have like textual articles like a newspaper later, but we have this so-called multimodal data, which is videos, which is also the text, multimedia. Recently, we get this AR and VR, Internet of Things. So online to offline, this all gets come together, bombarded us from all our sides, and we actually live in this ecosystem. We maybe don't realize it, but we live in this ecosystem for many years already. Once the big giant companies like Google, Facebook start coming in, like Amazon as well, coming into our life, and enable also new opportunities for us. And of course, there is a lot of user-generated data. So if last time we were just, let's say, consumers of the data, now we can generate data on social media. We can write this data by ourselves. Other people can read, comment, interact with us. And of course, we also have a lot of this IoT, Internet of Things data coming from various devices. Again, they are in our home. They are also in airports. They are everywhere in the streets. We live in Singapore. In Singapore, IoT is pretty much embedded into the culture, into how they build the systems. And it's everywhere in traffic cameras, in CCTV, in elevators, in the shops, they track which products we take from the shelves in the shops. And that's, again, become part of our life. So, and of course, this is especially very relevant to more like to the Asian and developing countries. Internet is very, very mobile recently. And the key here is that basically people don't need to stay near their computers to enjoy the services. They can go visit everywhere. They become very mobile. They consume the data everywhere. They see their ads. But also, last time, if we talk about marketing and advertisement, last time, what was the placement for us? Pretty much where we put our banner and how many people will see this banner, how the people flow in that particular, let's say, part of shopping mall will define the placement, how we will wrap it, how we will put it. But nowadays in internet, the placement is particular model of the phone, particular caption, particular maybe orientation of the phone. There's a lot of things that all come together again. And we as a marketers and a data scientist and pretty much everybody nowadays need to know how does all this work. Because if you don't know, we will be outdated. If we will be outdated, we wouldn't be more efficient. And this is what I'm going to talk today as well. How big is the internet? Well, it's measured as about 40 zettabyte. Usually during my offline classes, I always ask people, what is zettabyte? And usually nobody knows that. Well, in your right bottom side, you actually can see that zettabyte is 1,000 exabyte, which is 1,000 petabyte, which is 1,000 terabyte. Terabyte, you probably have heard about it already. And which is 1,000 gigabyte. So let's say today's video, today's seminar will be just 1 terabyte maybe, or even less than that. And if you add 13 more zeros to that and times 4, then it will be approximate size of internet. And it doubles every year. So let's say if you are a marketer, what you did 10 years ago cannot be the same as what you're doing now, simply because during these 10 years, internet has grown by 2 in the power of 10, which is 1024, which is more than by 1,000 times. And of course, that dictates the new realities of how we should live, how should you interact, and so on. Internet get indexed by search engines, by Google. That index only about 4% of internet. Why 4%? Well, that's because most of the pages nowadays on internet are generated. These pages are, well, it could be our landing pages that we drive our traffic and internet to let people watch these pages and basically see what's going on, and then probably travel to our website eventually. That could be also the pages that we generate in our internet, in Facebook and social networks that completely not indexed, right? Google don't index those pages. Google and other search engines pretty much avoid those pages simply because Facebook don't want them indexed because it's their intellectual property, pretty much, it's their asset, their data. And pretty much most important here to understand that most of the internet even not indexed by search engines. We cannot find it. When you are joining, please mute your microphones, okay? I'll try to figure out. Okay, I'm muted now. Fine. So that's all again affects how it works, and index much private data. Google, for example, can only index emails that they have and some photos that we upload. And that's why every company looking forward to gaining these assets, like everybody offer us cloud drives, everybody offering us email services, because they want to index this data, they want to learn about us through AI, and then based on that, eventually they will learn how to sell to us better, right? So that's how it works. And if last time communication was one-to-one, and then broadcast media was one-to-many, you understand why, right? When we talk by phone, it's one-to-one. When somebody broadcasts us a TV show, it's many people watch one source. Then in social media, it's many-to-many. And it's such an unorganized graph. So even if you talk to data scientists and you ask what type of data they would prefer to analyze, it will be always going to analyzing, easier to analyze some database data than this kind of social media graph that nobody knows even how does it work and how does it connect it. It's just impossible for human to really grasp that. Another important part is for broadcast media, and this is related to marketing already, right? Because this is already our ecosystem. So for broadcast media, we filter data first and then we publish it. But for social media data, people first publish and then you might try to attempt to filter, like in China, they try to filter it, but it's impossible, right? So in the broadcast media, we are under control. In social media, we might do one thing wrong, and after that, the hype will grow around what we did, and no way for us to control that because it's just already started propagate by itself through the people. We need to be careful. We need to understand the specifics as well. If you look at 1 minute of internet, you'll see these metrics. I wouldn't read for you, but you can see that there's millions and billions of events happen in different social networks just in 60 seconds. So it's like huge data processing. So sometimes when Facebook is slow, don't be too upset about them. They have to process of millions and billions of data points in a seconds, and that's what they have to do. That's not easy job for them. So just to outline the key characteristics of social media is that every one of us can be a media outlet. So we can produce a media. Our interactions become much more richer than we used to think, we used to have before. We generate a lot of content, and we enrich somebody else's content. So we might, let's say, comment somebody's post, we might repost something, and that's how hype grows, right? So by enriching somebody's content, let's say on LinkedIn, fast enough after the post has happened, you could influence how many people you'll see actually that post in, let's say, next few hours. If you react fast, many people will see. If you wouldn't react on your friend's post fast enough, then LinkedIn will decide that this post is not relevant, and then it won't be showing it to people. So you might even have heard this advice. So that's how it works. It's very collaborative environment, and there's a collective wisdom. Also, there is something called long tail. Those who have math background, this is about long tail distributions, and I'll be talking about it later. So I'll just remember the word long tail. I'll be talking about it a lot later. So Facebook, largest social network, it grows a lot, and it have about 300 million uploads each day. It was in January 2019, so it's more than 1 year ago. Now it's far more than that. So it's, again, very huge. And if you look into countries where Facebook is popular, you will see that actually Indonesia, for example, is number 3. So if you are social media market in Indonesia is it's like a really holy ground for you, and it's like really a nice place to be in, because that's the way people consume information in Indonesia, and that's the place where you want to reach them. And there are other countries like Russia, let's say, they are one of the first places on Instagram, surprisingly. And we also have countries like Philippines, Vietnam, Thailand that are also extremely big in terms of the size of social media. Of course, we have India and United States leading this plot. Why it's so popular? Because of mobile devices. Mobile devices provide you with the internet access everywhere. You can go, you can watch something on the go, you can interact with your people, with your friends, with your family, and we can even do some job assignments, and it all can be done with a mobile device nowadays. So just one hint, if you are doing digital marketing and you're still using, you know, those landscape format of your ads, that might be wasting you, well, tens or maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars, just the way you format your ads. Because people are watching it on mobile devices, and there are cases when for big MNC food brands, just change of the placement or format of the ad was boosting the results like 5 times, right? This is very simple, but nobody doing that. To do that, you need to understand this core principle where the traffic comes from, and it comes from mobile devices, especially in Asia. So if you go further and you talk about social media marketing, you could also see some very interesting trend. Actually, I have stolen this image from one of my sales colleagues. Maybe they will even sell this graph to you again. But this is one funny thing here. If you if you take a look at the Facebook in terms of like a user, right? Like those Facebook users, like a normal ordinary user, that would be absolutely not the same as if you will look at Facebook as a brand willing to establish a presence, willing to advertise there. Why so? Because users don't really pay to Facebook. And users are actually, our data is actually Facebook assets to generate revenues. But when it comes to the actual when it comes to the actual brands that are the source of these revenues. Sorry, my camera was not enabled, but now it is. So when it comes to the actual brand that generates the revenues, then it's a very different story. So in this plot, you can see that the organic reach is dropping. So this is organic reach of the posts that brands publish on social media. So let's say I have 1 million followers. I post some posts on social media, and I want to see how many people would actually see this post. And funny thing that in 2011 there were 260K seeing our post, but if you look at it in 2018, it will be less than 2,000. And if your post is not relevant, there will be just few people who click it and like it. So why so? Well, Zuckerberg says that's because he wants to have very relevant content to our users. Probably part of the reason. Another part of the reason is another plot that you can see inside this slide. You can see that the revenues, which is this plot is the revenues of Facebook, is growing proportionally to the decrease of the organic reach. So Facebook just at some certain point realized, well, why don't we stop giving up our resources to brands for free? And why don't we charge brands to advertise on our social platform? And pretty much all the assets that we win by gaining followers on Facebook become pretty much useless, because now we have to pay anyway to do advertisement. And this happens in Instagram as well. So this all trends with influencer marketing is going to be all paid very soon, officially through the social networks. This already happening in China. This happening even with Google, even for search engines. The relevance of the ads actually might depend, relevance like how high they will be in the output might depend on how many ads this brand is running and how many budgets other brands put into advertising themselves in the top of the panel, right? There was some research about that, and they found that depending on the budgets, actually organic reach in Google also differs. So this is important to understand. We have to advertise. So now how to advertise, not to waste all of our money on advertisement and make it really efficient. That's what this seminar is about. Just like we will go through the mechanics. How does this work within Google inside, within Facebook inside, and also we will look through several tools that might help us to do a better job. So, well, okay, we decided to advertise. Well, it's clear for us we should advertise. So how to do it? Facebook constantly changed the algorithms. Reach has dropped, as you can see from the plot. We get new regulations, like let's say tobacco industry, the investment industry, pharmaceutical industry, and some other industries, or even particular regions. Just, well, you have to go through a very special type of approval process. Your CPM will be higher, cost of that will be higher. How to deal with all this? But even worse, even though we tackle all the first three problems, how to choose the categories that we want to advertise? Straightforward answer, yes. Well, if I'm in fast food, I should advertise fast food. There is a little bit more tricky relatedly how you target your ads. You will definitely reach some people who advertise fast food, and moving a bit forward, I'll probably say, yes, you will reach them in a certain aspect, but think about how many other people will be reaching the same guys through the same burger. And this is a problem because your ads become very expensive, and those burger guys will get overwhelmed with their burger advertisements. So they actually will become not relevant, not because they're originally not relevant, but just because everybody bombards them with the same stuff. And well, there is a huge chunk of audience go somewhere nearby and we never advertise to them. So that's what's happening. And this is the reason why we get media spend increase and ad performance decrease. So if you look, let's say, into Facebook and the key factors that actually affect the cost of the Facebook ads, I would name few. It will be, you can read it from Facebook website. It's free information. It's their guidance, right? So it's target audience. It's a marketing objective. It's a budget. It's competition. When you choose to advertise, same as an organic post, even in LinkedIn, when is very important because that defines how many people will be watching their phones on that moment. Ad placement is pretty much is a desktop or it's let's say mobile. Which particular fonts you want to show, which particular, I don't know, shapes you want your banner look like, and all this. And relevance. Relevance is a magic metric which only Facebook knows how it's computed. We can only guess. But relevance is one of the key factors that affect how much our ads will cost. In the right side, you can see the plot that tells you the average, I think, is CPC, cost per click for different industries. So you can see that depending on the industry, how hot the industry is, and how wide the industry is in terms of like general interest of the audience, CPC can vary greatly from less than $1 to over $3. And in fact, I have seen CPC of 1 cent and even less, and I have seen CPCs of $10, and that both advertisement are doing well. It's just really depend on your industry, what you advertise, your product, and many other factors. And also the relevance that Facebook will assign. So let's talk about the target audience first, right? So target audience is an important factor, and basically it consists of a few these key criteria: some demographic and psychographic profiles of people, some maybe some geographical location, some interest of these people. So this we can clearly say here just that people of a certain demographic and psychographic, like let's say interests, tend to be represented much more, let's say in Facebook, like younger audiences, in Instagram, much more popular as compared to the older audiences, right? But also at the same time, advertisers also trying to always slim down the audience, now narrow the pool, and this could lead to higher costs as well, because let's say if you have your CRM data and you exhaust it all the time, you keep pushing the same ads to the same people all the time, you might end up eventually having so-called ad fatigue, where the same people keep seeing the same ad, they're tired of you, and then it actually backfires, right? So that's another potential problem, and that related to the targeting. And generally, selection of target audience is hard. Usually in offline webinars, I usually ask for your opinion. So let's say, what's your opinion on how many actual targeting options, let's say on Facebook, you might have? Some people say 10, it's very few say 10. Most of people say 170. And it's Facebook fault in a sense that they also advertise their beautiful category of 70 categories, a beautiful hierarchy of 70 categories that you can advertise to. But then if it goes to real ads manager, the actual cabinet where you can set up, you can see there's thousands of them and tens of thousands of them. And these categories may range from something general like fashion to something like exactly specific, like a button on my cafe. And this can be targeting category on Facebook. How come you all say, oh, that's because Facebook is AI system. It doesn't label people manually. This is fashion, this is no, because Facebook manual is a very large scale and automatically. I'll talk about this a little bit later. So choosing this category is very hard. And especially by our human mind, because, well, Facebook is AI system and we are humans. And maybe we have better intuition, but processing power, completely uncomparable, right? So then if you go to the marketing objective, that's about the marketing funnel. I wouldn't go too much into detail, but basically what Facebook lets you choose here is what you want to optimize for, either to reach as many people as possible, doesn't matter are they too relevant to you or not, or if you go into second level consideration, like as traffic engagement ads, is trying to make people start considering engaging in your service and getting your product. So they will be optimizing for those people who tend to click your ad, who tend to engage, like put a heart or something inside there. And then, of course, the third one, the most lower marketing funnel, is a conversion, where you'll be converting people. That's a whole another webinar, can be just about this, simply because choosing the right objective is very crucial. I just give a brief glaze. Let's say you want to sell to people who don't know about your product yet. No way you're going to sell to them. It's very hard. You need to bring them through this funnel down from awareness to consideration to conversion to start sell. But for some brands that, let's say, very famous and just starting social media, conversion directly might work because everybody know about them. So, and let's say e-commerce is just one more way for them to purchase or enjoy the service. It's just a technical thing, and they are already in the right funnel level. So choosing this funnel level is, you don't need AI for it, but you need to have a very good strategic thinking and understanding how this ecosystem works, what's the difference between them, and to make the decision, the right for your brand. The biggest mistake, and super often mistake, is that brands come to Facebook and try to push for conversions directly. It doesn't work, guys. If you're doing that, stop doing that. Well, talk to your, I don't know, CMO or agency or your friend who knows marketing. That's not going to work. And reconsider your strategy on moving up. My point is, it really affects the results. Competition, arguably one of the most important and key factors. And this is also one of the key differences between traditional and, let's say, digital advertisement. So usually when we go to, like we try to auction, right? We want to buy some item. We raise our hands and we say, I'm going to pay this much. And another person raises, no, I'm going to pay more, like $2,000 more. And then somebody win eventually, the one that provided the biggest price. Same thing happened in real time for millions of users at the same time on social media when you advertise. So if you want to reach people through the burger interest, you need to, so you and other advertisers who want to reach people through this burger by targeting people through, let's say, interest called burger, you have to fight with everybody, and the one that offer the highest bid will win the impression. So many people ask me, oh, if I bid very, very low, why don't I just bid low and I get impressions for a very low price? If you bid always low, somebody else will be always win. You'll never even show your ad to anybody. You wouldn't lose your money, but you wouldn't utilize your budget either, right? So this is very important, the competition. And when you choose to advertise, it's very important. Here in the table, just very briefly, you can see that, I'm not sure you can see or not, but basically the price can go double or even triple in certain cases for exactly the same brand, same product, same campaign, same creative, just depending on the time. And this is because different advertisers advertise and bid for the same product in different time, and also a different pool of people is available in different time. Let's say in the evening, everybody traveling MRT, everybody browsing phones, so it's more people. It might cost you cheaper, but let's say if more advertisers will be bidding for the same interest, it might cost you more expensive. So this is important to consider, the timing factor. And of course, the placement. Basically, in your screen, you can see different types of placements that you can put your ads in. Can be a square, can be, let's say, in a sidebar, can be in mobile phone in a portrait orientation or in a landscape orientation, many ways. This also affects different types of people, demographics. They get attracted by different types of placements and different types of presentation of them. Not just creative itself, but even like where would you put it, in which place really affects the results. So this is an example of relevance score, like the most interesting and the biggest metric. You can see that Facebook basically scores every time, every content you upload based on the relevance. And the relevance is computed based on both your creative, visual creative, and your text. So you can see that in this case, there's 3 examples. And 3 targeting examples as well. So you can see that there's a slightly different text inside there, same image, same link, and also different targeting. You can see in the first case, it was males and females 18 to 34 in US. Second, it was only females 18 to 34 in US. And third one was females in US 18 to 34 and interested in fashion. And you can see that relevant score grow from 2 to 8, 4 times, become very relevant in the end. Just because your targeting fit the type of the content you are presenting there. And if your relevant score is high, it means Facebook thinks that is a good ad, then it will be making it cheaper for you to advertise and show it to people. If Facebook thinks it's a bad ad, then it will lower the relevant score and it will be very expensive for you to show every time to every eyeball. And also, let's say if you'll be cheating and let's say you'll put some spam inside, or you'll be trying to explicitly ask your people, let's say, to like your ad, then Facebook will determine that and also will penalize your service relevant score, and then you'll get much lower results. So these are the key factors. So, and if we can get some feedback regarding the objective, regarding the budget, regarding the placement. Let's say objective can be decided with our agency and our strategist. Budget can be decided again based on our strategy, placement based on feedback from Facebook. We run an ad, we see when it works and what, on which devices it works better. We just use just those devices. And same as demographics can be decided in this way. The content score and targeting is very hard to decide. It's pretty much a guesswork. We can only A/B test, waste a lot of our budgets, and it's also very manual. So what are those key supplementary tools can be used by us to help with this process is a key to make it work better. So now I will briefly go through these different tools that marketers can use inside their daily routines. There are many more tools. I'll just pick up some, like the most famous one and those free ones. Okay. So the first tool is called Google Trends. I'm sure many of you have seen these tools many times, and you have used these tools. So if I go inside my other screen, and I go here, you'll see the Google Trends window. I hope you can see my screen sharing. So how I do set up it? I set up two topics basically, or search terms. One is burgers, and the other one is a pastry. Both of them are related to fast food industry. So here is the plot of how popular these two things are, and it's a breakdown in Singapore. So you can see that burgers, which is red, they are about 2 times more popular, but they are kind of following the same trends, and they're much closer to each other in terms of popularity. And it's not even about and you can do it for different time, of course. You can compare different days. You can see where it's popular on the map, and all these analytics very useful for you for your strategy. The point here is that let's say if you choose another country, let's say you will choose United States. You can see that the gap between burgers and pastry is much more different, right? And don't confuse, now burgers is blue and pastry is red. You can see that they are become how many times? One is almost 70, another one is, so it's more than 3 times, almost 4 times different, just depending on the region. So in Singapore, the story was that its fast food is not that popular here as, let's say, it will be popular in some other locations. But what you as a marketer can gain from this tool? Okay, you can understand first what type of things are popular, what type of things people search in Google at this moment. So you can do better SEO, search engine optimization, by choosing the right keywords and topics. You can do better SEM, and even plan your campaigns in a better way, because you know what's going to happen, what is happening now, what people are really searching. If you advertise based on what people really search, then you have a very good chance to also excel and be more efficient in your advertisement. And of course, you can get much better breakdowns in terms of different regions of the country. If the country is big enough, sub-regions, you can see a breakdown of different places, and also different other queries that people are also searching. So by just setting up some topic that you want to advertise for, you can actually find out how many other similar topics are actually related and relevant. And this is very powerful. Not just because you can do it in Google, but you also can do it in Twitter, in Facebook, in Instagram, and any other social network that allows you to target. By using Google own tool, you can actually improve your advertisement on Facebook, and opposite. And this works much better than if you've been using native tools. Why? Because companies, they don't want to make you too efficient. If you are too efficient in your advertisement, then you will be not spending enough budgets, right? You'll be saving too much money. So they give you just enough tools for you to get hooked on their advertisement platform, but not more than that. That's why cross-check of platforms and using data from different channels is a key here. And that's what many state-of-the-art agencies, for example, that buy media, they are doing. So this is a very good idea. Maybe one more example of why, like, of let's say, tool doesn't provide you enough information to do smart decisions. Look at Google. Google tells you each keyword, how much it will cost you, and how popular was this search, this particular keyword, right? But you go to Facebook, you create the audience of 100 categories, and then they just tell you, okay, your cost was this, your results was this. It would never tell you which particular category worked and deliver results to you. Why? Because if they do this, then you'll be removing all non-performing categories, and then some people will not get targeted, everybody else will get over-targeted, and then prices will grow in one place, will be completely cheap in another place, the whole will overbalance, and also you'll become too good. And they don't want you to be too good. They want to be just fine, to stay with them and grow your budget steadily and slowly over time. Like stay with them, right? That's very important for them. Increase the stickiness of their platform. So then if you go to another tool we will be discussing is, of course, the Google search bar. I wouldn't be showing you this. I mean, all of you have seen this, but Google search bar is not biased type of tool that marketers indeed can still use for their advertisement. If you search for something in Google, Google actually will start telling you what other things people are searching related to this by their autocomplete feature. So if you have something in mind and you want to advertise that, and you want to know what are the key other topics might be relevant to this, good idea could be to go into Google Analytics tools. Even better idea can be also cross-check it with the Google search bar itself and say, okay, what are the things people are searching? And once you collect a lot of these phrases that people are searching, later you can bid for these phrases. and nobody else will be bidding for them. Which will mean what? Which will mean that you will be winning competition with other advertisers much cheaper price, reaching the same people. This is long tail targeting, and this is the key for Google marketing, for search engine marketing. So the third one, called WordStream. This is actually a paid tool, but they have a lot of free tools available for you that you can use on your in your daily routines. So this is one of them. It's called free keyword tool. You can, so what is good here, you can choose a particular keyword, but also you can choose the industry, and you can choose the place. And then they will show you many different versions of the keyword that are related to this. You can see that burger related to Burger King, to pizza, to hamburgers, burger snack, fat burger menu, and all these kind of things in Singapore. And it will tell you how much it will cost you, rough CPC for each of the categories, how many searches will be, and how many people will be compete for this, how many advertisers will be compete for this. Using this tool together with Google Trends, together with search bar, together with other tools I will show, will be key for you to do effective search engine marketing and to do effective digital marketing. Why these all tools are under AI category? Why we even talk about them in this AI? Very simple, because even WordStream, in fact, is one of the AI systems that compares a lot of search queries from many, many sources, not just from Google, but from other advertisement engines, like let's say from Yandex, from I believe Chinese engines and other local engines, that aggregate all together, cross-match these metrics, and provide you a much more holistic view as compared if you would be just using, let's say, just Google itself, right? So how does it do it? It looks into the meaning of the word, and it matches the meaning, it understands the meaning. I not ambassador of WordStream. I just using for, let's say, my webinars and to show you how does it work, because I have these free tools. But indeed, all the systems are AI systems, and the reason why they can give you better suggestions than your intuition or than Google, because they're first not biased, second they are really much bigger data than you could have in your CRM or anywhere. So that's why it works. If you go further, let's say into the next tool, which is called Google Keywords Planner. This is a native Google's tool, which is indeed, again, very, 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 very useful. If you go inside the tool itself, okay, let me try to find it. It goes here. Yeah. So you can see that these tools help you basically to discover these new keywords and also estimate how much reach these keywords will gain. And when you put, let's say, your keyword inside, let's say burger, then, or maybe I'll put another one, pizza. Then it will actually give you a lot of suggestions of what type of other keywords get searched by people at this current moment, and the trends, and what are the other keywords. So she gives keywords idea, pizza near me, Domino's near me, Pizza Hut. You cannot just figure out your keywords for SEM and search engine marketing as well, like AdWords, but you can also see competitor analysis. You can see which are the competitors that actually people search when it comes, let's say, to fast food industry. And this is very cool. So it gives you for free a very, very deep insight into what's going on inside the industry. Even more, you can do this grouped ideas. So, and it will split for you what kind of general intentions people have. Let's say delivery near me, vouchers, and Domino's now near me, Best Burger, Hot Number, Pizza House. What is this? It's a strategic insight for you, which aspects you should be focused on in driving sales in your product, especially in COVID time when everything goes digital. In order to bring more traffic, in order to bring more customers and gain better market share for your business. So this is, well, very surface tool in the first view, but when you really understand and go deep, you can understand that you become like part of Google. You know everything happening inside. And again, this can be used not just in Google, it can be used also in Facebook, in Twitter, and other ad platforms to target people, because I'm sure there will be, let's say, Pizza Hut targeting inside Facebook as well. And what we are talking next is exactly about this, right? So our next tool is, of course, the Facebook native audience insights tool. So what it does, it breaks down the audiences based on Facebook analytics, based on who will click and follow particular interests in Facebook. It breaks it down in terms of demographics, what people like, where people active, and all this. So if I share the tool itself with you again, you can find it in your Facebook Ads Manager. If you do an advertisement, you can find it easily. I think it's here. Yeah. What you can find here is that actually, based on even some company's name, like you see, it's a Pizza Hut here, you can see what are the breakdown of different demographic segments. Like as you can see that it's 54% female, and you can see what is the difference between actual average population of Facebook. You can see are they married or not, how well they're educated, where is their work. The key here is this. First, you can see that much more of these people who are labeled by Facebook, and this is important. This is very important. So please try to figure it out. Inside Facebook, you can see that on the Pizza Hut interest, it's quite a number of people who work in fast food restaurants are labeled by Facebook as fast food interest. What does it mean? These people work in the restaurants, they already know the whole industry. They're not interested in any advertisement related to fast food. But indeed, if you will be targeting your ads based on Pizza Hut, at least 7% of these people will be a really waste of money for you, because it will be those restaurant workers who know about the restaurant so well, know industry so well, but we will be targeting them. Why is this happening? Simply because they log in and go to restaurant pages on Facebook, because they do some transactions related in those restaurants. So they have too much of this burger activity, like pictures with burgers with their friends, too much burger activity that showed Facebook that these guys probably like burgers, but indeed they're completely wrong audience for you. If you go further and you go inside this activity, page likes, you'll see even more interesting. What are the pages that these people like? Well, Pizza Hut, fine, understand why. None does understand why. But when you go further, you can see that also there is a Kit Kat, Nutella, dairy milk. If you go further, I was sure there will be Cheers, right? Coca-Cola, Cotton On, right? So these are the pages that these people visit. These pages, additionally to other parameters, of course, define to Facebook what is the interest of these people. So these people that are interested, let's say, in Pizza Hut, they also will be interested in Cotton On. They also will be interested in Cheers, which is just a retail convenience store. But ask yourself, how often would you even think to target people who are interested in fast food through, let's say, Cotton On? Very unlikely. But indeed, this is the key of long tail targeting. And the overall concept here is like that. If Facebook target me with a particular interest, it doesn't mean that there are no other 100 interests related to my normal daily life that actually much more relevant to me. And also these interests allow to deliver ads to my phone, to my computer, to my lifestyle, to my life at much cheaper way through those other interests, not just through the fast food. What's happening in the industry? Well, everybody will be targeting the fast food, almost everybody. And then everybody will get very high price. People get pissed off because of the wrong advertisement or exactly the same advertisement all the time. And then you end up having not efficient ads as advertiser. That's what you don't want to do. So let me go back to my slides and basically just give you a 3 to 4 minutes break before we proceed for the second part of this webinar. What you see in front of you is our LinkedIn page. We are developing it and we're building it as a community to help marketers to know more about AI and digital marketing, and also for us to get you feedback, for you to follow the recent updates on digital marketing and AI digital marketing and technology. So if you are generally interested in this topic and you like this topic, take maybe 1 minute of your time, go follow our page. It will help us, and we hope to help you as well in your digital marketing journey. So I will be starting the second part at 3 o'clock, exactly at 3 o'clock Singapore time. So now it's 2:57, so we have a 3 minutes break. You are welcome to ask any questions in the chat or by your voice if you have any. Very, very happy to answer during the break and after the break as well. Okay. Yeah, I can see some of you have liked our page, have subscribed for this. Thank you very much for that. I can also see the questions. Yeah, there's a couple of private questions, and also, what's your view on Facebook CBO, which promises kind of similar optimization capabilities? Okay, other questions are private, okay? But I think they were also supposed to be public. It's just I said private. Okay, let me reply both. So what is the view on Facebook CBO, which promises kind of similar optimization capabilities? I think every advertisement engine, Facebook and Google and well, all of them, they're in this business, and they have a very clear business model based on the ads. They are interested, advertisers pay money to utilize their audiences of people who watching these ads and basically seeing these ads and well, purchasing the product, clicking somewhere, visiting landing pages and all this. Okay, so this is a business model. I think Facebook recently doing a much better job in terms of helping making their tools much more accessible for people to use, because they found that some intermediate parties don't really bring much value to their clients. Like maybe it could be some agencies, or they don't bring much value to their clients by just using Facebook on their behalf. So Facebook feels, why don't I just make my tool simple and I go to brands directly? So this is a trend. They start providing more of this kind of optimization tools. They also have the internal optimization of ads, as you mentioned, and all these kind of things. And indeed, these tools are useful and much more, they have become much more clear than it was, let's say, 3 years ago or 5 years ago, like when I was doing ads for our clients. It was much more opaque than at this moment, but it still has to go along with their business model. And if Facebook ads, let's say, wouldn't be delivering at all, then people wouldn't use it. If Facebook ads will be delivered too good, then people will be using it less, and Facebook will gain less revenues. So I believe that wherever Facebook provides will always be not enough to make it the full power of Facebook. So if you want to really get full power of what Facebook can deliver to you, then you probably need to go to external parties or external tools that also use AI to help to leverage on Facebook's AI, set it up smartly, monitor beyond what human can do in order to deliver the best performance. So third-party tools, in my opinion, will be always better parties to boost the quality of that, simply because they don't have conflict of interest. They are interested to help, because if they don't help, then you wouldn't pay to them. Facebook interested to sell their ecosystem and infrastructure and place for showing the ads, and that is the issue here for any of them. Yeah. So what would happen if you run the social media platform without ads, besides from reducing reach, or any ways would be cheaper than ads to promo our Facebook? So if you run Facebook without ads, as you say, besides the reach, you might build a good impression about your brand, because let's say startups, right? For startups, it's very important to drive their pages to show that there's something happening, that they get new releases, that people can connect them through these messaging features. And same for the bigger brands. You can run your customer service through your page. You can run some engaging content for your fans who will see your ad just because they go to the page itself, not because they appear in their timeline, but because they go into your page to see what have been posted. Then you have a very good, strong, organic connection to the people that interact with your page, to your real, true fans. The drawback is that you will not be able to grow much, because unfortunately, Facebook, the main thing that Facebook cut in the reach is the ability to grow, opportunity to grow beyond those customers and followers we already have. And at the same time, that's what brands want. They want to grow. They want to grow customer base. To do that, you have to pay for the advertisement. But it doesn't mean that organic Facebook engagement, leading the pages, is not important. No, it's very important. It's very important to stay connected with your interested people, to answer the queries. Let's say a modern generation that rather go to Facebook to ask you a question, or to Instagram to write DM to you to ask you a question about your product, rather than they'll be calling you and waiting for hotline. Those millennials, right? I know in Russian market, DMs in Instagram is a key. You know, the young kids, they don't go Google to search for something. They go YouTube to search for something. So the ways people use social networks and search engines and multimedia platforms changes a lot during the last 5 years. And I do believe that healthy organic pages are very important. But that's not the way to grow, unfortunately. It used to be, but probably not the case at this moment. So I'll continue. Thanks for your questions. It's very good questions. I really like both. So next part, guys, this one is about AI, about machine learning. Don't worry, you don't need to code, you don't need to be a mathematician or whatever. But by listening to this part, I guarantee you'll be able to participate in basic conversation about AI, and you will understand way more about AI in case if you don't really deep into it yet. So by going through this basic principle behind AI part, I believe you guys will be able to think about AI as more like mathematics and more like a tool and model, but not like a magic robot, you know, like how they draw it in Google, like a robot with a brain, I don't know, some contacts everywhere, and this is AI. No, that's not AI, guys. That's just creatives that humans try to draw AI. No, AI is mathematical models. And that's what I want to explain to you very briefly. Stop me if you don't understand something. I'll be very happy to answer your question here. So let's proceed. Before an AI machine will learn, it first needs to understand the data. And that happens like with infants and pets and pretty much with everything in our world. Indeed, our kids are natural intelligence. When my daughter was, I'm originally Russian, right? So when my daughter was trying to figure out first few Russian words, it was very hard for her, especially her mom speak Chinese, and that's the basic communication she used to. And it took some time for her to learn first few, like 5-10 words. But once we established some sign language with her, you know, yeah, eat, like let's go for a walk or something like that, and as well as establish few words like go, пошли, пошли. She started getting other Russian words much faster because we get the communication, the understanding. And it doesn't matter what is that. Is it a dictionary, Google Translate, as we do with our grandmas, like, well, or like elderly that do traveling, they use a lot of these translators, or mathematicians, you know, they can write everything in formulas. Musicians can write music scores. Point is understanding. And if understanding is established, then natural intelligence, human can learn, and artificial intelligence, AI, also can understand and learn from the data. And if you go to the most simplest bag of words model, treated literally like bag of words, every text in wherever, in social media, wherever, can be represented as just countings of words. Like inside this text, right, that you see in the left, you can see that there was 0 learning, 3 times the word journal, 2 times word intelligence, 1 times word internet, and 1 times word volume. Fine. The vector on the right side, this column with the numbers of words, is something that computer can understand. It's a representation of this text. So now computer can compare 2 texts one to another. Let's say they have another text, then they can compare how many times each word was in both texts. And if counts are roughly similar, like both are talking about journal 3 and second one, let's say 4 times, and probably these 2 texts are about some scientific publications. So this is textual data representation called bag of words. Mathematically speaking, distribution of the words of the whole word corpora, right? Distribution of the text through the whole word corpora number. And why it's called bag of words? Because each of these words in a column, and the right side is journal, intelligence. It takes kind of bags, right? It's like the buckets where we put the words, we count them, and this is a text representation. This super simple, but you'll be surprised. Google's, Facebook's, and everybody else uses a lot because indeed it works, and it's really very good representation of natural text. In the left side, unstructured, and the structured side, and your right side. Yeah. Then we have other scientists like James Pennebaker. They went further. They kind of use bag of words, but they not just randomly assign these bags. They say, okay, let's say that different types of words belong to different personalities. For example, if you say I a lot, very less likely that you are a leader if you say we a lot, statistically. And he discovered over 80 this kind of statistics and put them in one dictionary called LIWC, Linguistic Inquiry and Word Count. And this is also text representation, but not in terms of the semantics of the text, but more like about the author. What is the personality of the author in this distribution? Let's say you can distinguish introverts on the left from extroverts on the right, just based on the distribution of the lexics that they are using. So when somebody will tell you, hey, my AI understands personality and psychographics, quite likely behind that will be something like what you see in front of you, where this AI engine just counts words and then compare people with a different word usage patterns and then define personality based on that. That's as simple as this. It's not a rocket science, okay? This is another textual representation of the words. Another one called LDA is called topic modeling, some statistical generative model that can scan through the text many times iteratively and try to figure out maybe 6 or 10 topics that this person was talking about. And these topics will be defined by the words inside the topic. You can say the first topic was about gender, DNA, and genetic. Second, about life evolution of organisms. The third one about neuroscience, brains. And the third one about some computer data numbers. So just these 4 topics can represent this document. You can say this document is about genetics, about organisms, about neuroscience, and also about how computer can process that. This is another way to represent the text. Then how about images? Images are like texts because on images, we have a lot of edges. We don't look at each pixel. We look at side of the chair, like let's say, look at my shoulder, right? This is an edge. This is an edge. My nose is an edge. This is edge as well. This is an edge. This is edge. My eyes is also have several edges around. My mouth. Can be represented just like you see this kind of many arrows, which is direction of the edge, and also the amplitude, like how strong is it compared to the rest of the background. Even zoom. Why zoom can create a virtual background behind me? Very easy, because Zoom has AI that in real time recognizes that there is a human in front of us, and then this human with a distinct color patterns that are too different from my background, which is static. It just erases all the background and just keeps me. Well, if I start doing a lot of this, it will start work less efficient and effective simply because my background and myself will be too dynamic and mixing together. But when I sit static and I don't move, it's pretty easy for AI to recognize, right? The same principles. Then these edges can be represented as a histogram, which directions are more popular, which are not, and then this image can be represented. So every image later can be represented at the back of visual words. So like collections of different edges inside. And this is called SIF descriptors. Then you can cluster these edges into groups, and you eventually can recognize the concepts within the images. So inside this image, if AI will look at it, it can say, okay, there's a tree, there's a statue, there's another tree, a stairs, a people, and another statue. That's what AI will do. So if somebody will tell you, I have visual recognition AI, very likely they have something like this, just trained over thousands or tens of thousands different categories like this, where each model can predict, is it, let's say,
our pineapple or not? Is it our chair or not? Is it our bunny or not? Is it our I don't know, animal or bird, binocular or not? It's just binary predictor whether this mushroom is on the image or not. And once it predicts, fine, it's give you a distribution of what is on your picture. So that's how computer vision knows and understands our content, right? No rocket science. Understand that, let's say, this binocular have this distinct edge here and this edge here. And let's say this cat have a tail. And let's say this head have this interesting edge. And the foot have this, right? Like this kind of oval shape. And then it can distinguish one from another, and then it can recognize and learn. And it can do, beauty is it can do in the billions, right, of images in a fraction of the seconds compared to human, right? We can recognize better than machine most of the time, but we cannot do it large scale, and machine can. So basic idea, if you get a set of images to predict something, you can always represent it as a set of this bag of words. If you get a set of text of something, you can always represent of bags of textual words, and then eventually you can get some model that can predict zebra against, let's say, some motorcycle and some other type of horse, but not zebra, right? This as easy as this. How does this work? Well, once machine understands the data, there are many classifiers you can use to predict naive Bayes, KNN, SVM, decision tree, random forest, neural network. And all these classifiers need to be tuned, need to be, data have to be processed correctly. And this is the magic of the data scientist sitting and doing. Basically, try many times which classifier to use for which problem, how to make classifier predicting zebra against non-zebra as precise as possible, and then thousands of other types of things. Classifiers can be easy, can be difficult, like neural networks or deep neural networks, but principles are the same. Represent the data and then build some models that can distinguish one from another. How does this model get built? We have some training set of images. So images for which we know what is this zebra, let's say, or not zebra. Then we pre-process the data to make sure there's no noise, to make sure that we don't have some, emoticons inside. We don't have, maybe we can clear the background of the image. We can make it perfectly nicely square, cut the place where the object is, so let computer learn and predict nicely. Some employ some classifier to train the classifier. And in case if classifier trained once and then predicts all the time, it will be machine learning. In case it predicts and learns every time at the same time, it's AI. That's all difference. It's no like some like people say, oh, this is not AI, this is machine learning. Honestly, if you have your machine learning model that you train every 5 minutes, it will become AI, no difference, right? So all these talks is, in my opinion, doesn't matter. The point is just a bunch of mathematical models that can do really cool stuff on images and on text. We look at very simple classifier. We have training patterns. These dots are represented somewhere in a space, in 2D space, right? X and Y. We have orange dots that are one class, and we have green dots that are another class. And we have a new dot, and we try to figure out, is this dot green or orange, based on where it's located. And then you can see that nearest neighbors of this dot are all green. Most of them are green. So we'll make decision that our dot is also green color. That's a classification. If you want to compare, let's say, animals and their pictures, you'll probably be looking at whether they all have tails and whether they all have this white and black coloring, and whether they have four legs, the environment around. And if our new horse is too very similar to all zebras that we have in our training data set, then we classify this horse as a zebra. So now you get a k nearest neighbor classifier. What is very good for k nearest neighbors is extremely simple, and it's actually AI. Because once you get new data point inside, it immediately learns based on it, and the next data point will be already predicted based on bigger data sets. So it's AI, you know, in this sense. Other machine learning problems work like not problems, but other machine learning algorithms work in a bit similar fashion. They are much more complex, and I have to say that K-nearest neighbor is the most simple and straightforward AI algorithm. Actually, again, used a lot. Let's say in Rakuten, they use a lot of these kind of algorithms to do their recommendation of the items in the e-commerce and many other places. If something is simple, it doesn't mean it doesn't work. In fact, quite often, this is the only thing that works and people using it. So you all now, I hope, understand how this works. Let me check if you guys have any questions on that. Okay, yeah, somebody says that I explained AI precisely. So thanks for that. I hope you guys understand, but give me questions and I'm happy to explain any part of it. I don't want to bore you. So that's why I go so fast and I try to give a very, well, simple and a finger explanation. Of course, there are a lot of maths behind that for more complex models. I'm happy to do another seminar explaining just that. I'm reading a course in university of 10 weeks on how to build these mathematical models to make it work. But principles are all the same, just as I explained to you. So how does this used? And well, let's say in Facebook. Does Facebook use this AI? Of course does. It's impossible to process the data in the large scale as Facebook has without AI. You cannot hire so many people. So when Facebook failed, which surprisingly happening too often recently, and let's say the CDN, like a place where they store the images, get stored, maybe get disconnected, or from certain regions you cannot access it, you might see what you see now in the screen. So you can see the first image is written, the image may contain night sky and outdoor. And another thing, image may contain flower. And another thing, image may contain people standing. And image may contain sky, cloud, and outdoor. And image may contain one or more people sitting, shoes, and indoor. What is this? This is Facebook help to you explaining basically what is inside the image because you cannot see the image itself. What it tells us data scientists and also what it tells marketers. This is the way Facebook label you day and night, 24 hours, 7 days. Every content you upload will be labeled in this way, stored, and later your ads will fly into you through this. And not just this. My wife likes Thermomix. She has one. I, for some reason, well, I'm not a fan of cooking, so I didn't even know what's Thermomix. It's like a machine for the kitchen to do some robotic cool cooking stuff. But Facebook have assigned this interest to me. And where I can see it in every dashboard in the privacy settings, everyone can see actually what Facebook assigned to us as interests. And why it's so? Because my wife is connected to me in Facebook. We communicate through Facebook messaging. Often Facebook detected that and then propagate her interest into mine. That's why I'm seeing ads about Thermomix, even though I don't really know how does it work. And my wife really likes that. But it might also work, right? Because later I might buy, I don't know, a new model for her when I want to make a gift for her. So it's also when we go to particular places, let's say we go to particular groups, we follow particular pages, it all affects how does Facebook sees us, and it keep continuously labeling us all the time. And also there were some fun posts after the recent Facebook breakdown. They can see that somebody posted on Twitter that there was an AI recognition tool that it recognized he was taking a selfie of himself near the picture on the wall, and then they recognized only 6 people and didn't recognize him inside the picture because his style is too different, maybe. So model adapt to that type of pictures behind, but didn't adapt to him because he is too much in front of them, right? So just a fun post from other people. And somebody else, Dieter Bohn, have mentioned that Facebook give you a chance to see what is very nice accessibility feature auto editing images does, and also auto labeling does. Actually, Dieter Bohn write only partially. Why? Because if you go inside your own Facebook, and let me show you this, you can see how Facebook label your content anytime you want. If you see my screen now, you can actually go inside. Okay, I need to teach you. You have to go to inspect. You can click on somewhere, just on the page, you say inspect. It will open the developer tools inside the Facebook. So basically, it will show the source code of the Facebook itself, right? Facebook might even write to you, hey, don't do this, and this is dangerous. This bullshit is not dangerous. It's just looking for the source code of the page. So if you search inside this page, inside the source code may contain, you'll see that our header picture of our page contains phone, ocean, and screen. And if you go for the next picture, this image may contain 1 million people or more. And then if you go to the next picture, okay, this is our screen again. If you go to the next picture, you can say that this picture contains text. This is how Facebook understands you, right? And I like this picture where Somin CTO is doing some coding and drinking some beers here in this picture, right? You can see it. So if you go further, you can actually see that. One moment, maybe more. Yeah, this one. Yeah. So it has 1 or more people sitting and the screens in front of them. So it didn't recognize beer, luckily, right? So it's fine. So Facebook also doesn't know that he got some beers in the evening. So, but this is the point. This is how Facebook continuously reads us, and Google doing the same thing, but just based on our search queries. And also, all these systems continuously monitor how we move our mouse, for example, in a window, to figure out are we the real people or not real people. So let's say if you want to code the systems that will scrap Facebook, basically download the information from Facebook in order to, I don't know, collect whatever you want to do with it, you have to create a very smart system that will be moving mouse on your behalf randomly, just in order to not let Facebook AI to understand that you are grabbing their data. So they monitor everything you are doing in the environment, everything you are doing in your app. You have Facebook app, means Facebook monitors where you go, where you have dinner, you have whatever payment system that also know everything about your spendings, everything. And based on this, it will target ads to you. Now, think, if you're an advertiser, would it be a little bit short-sighted to think about Facebook advertisement as go inside there, set up demographics, set up burger as a targeting, and hope that it will really reach those people interested in fast food and will deliver ads to really right people in the right time? In my opinion, if we have very sophisticated AI system on the Facebook side, we should have another AI-driven approach through all the tools I was showing to you, and maybe some other additional tools that will help you to figure it out and connect this Facebook AI by your own AI on your side to match these two together and be really communicating with computer in a way it's understand. You remember, AI understands, AI can do work. AI doesn't understand, it cannot train, cannot learn, cannot really do a good job for you. A few more examples of image recognition. Facebook really good at that. It knows how all of us look like. If you connect their database with CCTV cameras everywhere in the world, they can know any literal position of everybody in the world who has Facebook account. They also know, as I said before, the pages that we like, right? So based on these pages, they will be also defining what is interesting to us, and not just to us, but also our family, our close friends. Same as my wife liked Thermomix, but it assigned as one of the top interests to my account. Why, right? So that's how it works as well. When I was talking with Facebook team, like time, we talk with them quite often. I have many questions, and then they're very happy to talk with us. So they told me that these interests get updated every 2 weeks for every one of us. So if you reach one person 2 weeks ago, for your new campaign, you might not reach the same person. So the new interest, in case if their wife, I don't know, buy new cooking stuff easily. And this is super opaque. It's very hard to figure out how it works. Solution, you have to be as dynamic, as agile as Facebook itself, continuously adapting, reading their feedback, using their tools, using external tools to continuously monitor this ecosystem and deliver right ads to right person in the right time according to this current ecosystem and environment. That is very important to really make it efficient, make it really work efficient. So let me check whether any questions. Okay, so far not. Yeah, so this is a Google ecosystem. I found this nice plot. So basically, AdWords within the Google AI ecosystem, AdWords doing some smart bidding, and it uses machine learning to automate the bidding for you to try to get as cheap bid as possible, right? But according to relevance, according to other advertisers, according to budgets, and well, all subjective in a sense, right? But it uses AI to figure out which keywords going to be searched in future to predict for you what would be a rough cost of your ads. And the same for Facebook is called, they have frequency and reach buying, when even in the past now they tell you how many people potentially they're gonna get in the future if you spend this much money. So this is AI tool. YouTube of course automatically bans the content that is inappropriate, that have maybe some porn or some violence, and so they can do it manually. They find this content, they temporarily ban, send to review, and real people decide whether they want to ban this account or content or not. Same as intellectual property rights, same as copyright and all these kind of things. I knew from a Facebook researchers, they even have a new direction now that try to ban whether particular image and content is generated by another AI neural network. So they try to figure out whether this is a real person or it's actually AI bot acting in Facebook as a real person. In Google, we also have photo suggestions. We also have just Gmail that writes emails for us. You know, we type in Gmail something, it completes the sentence for us. It's content generation AI. So it's inside our ecosystem. And if we are humans and we want to act based on our gut feelings, that might be not the best approach we could adopt, right? Because if we have a number of advertisers that, let's say in the food industry, that want to advertise and bid for the burger, let's say, we know that Facebook will give the impression to that guy in the bottom who is willing to pay the most money. But, you know, some people, including myself even, I might not be just interested in AI and marketing and, I don't know, presenting lectures. I might be also interested in something else in my right side. I like to play accordion, and I have accordion community here in Singapore, right? It's very, very different. Now, if you know that people like me are often interested in music, why don't you target us through music to reach us a much cheaper price as compared to if you'll be targeting us from marketing, which is the most straightforward, but well, I keep receiving marketing ads. I'm a bit tired of them, right? So this is a question. And if we, for fast food, if we know that, let's say we know that the same guy who likes burgers also might get targeted through the pastry, which is less popular, as you can see inside Google Trends earlier, that we might get people at much cheaper price. And we can bid for pastry, as you can see in the top, only with $1 instead of $3 as on the bottom. But we still can get the impression from the person. So now we have so many different options. In Facebook, we have tens of thousands of different bidding categories, starting from chair, finishing with beauty and fashion, very wide categories, how to choose between them. In Google, we have a lot of keywords we can choose from. How to choose. this is a question, and the tools I have explained to you might help in it if you really learn them and learn how to utilize these analytics things. There are some other external tools that also help you to do that, maybe more automatic fashion, just grab information from everywhere, analyze by its own AI, and try to tag it in the right way. And of course, the key here is understand how this whole ecosystem works, come to realization that it's not as simple as just choose few categories and targets, and then start moving towards making it much more smart and therefore much more efficient. So same as I would say, already mentioning that before, right? If you have, let's say, number of people inside the picture, your gut feeling will be, let's say, advertising this NUS as through, let's say, education system, people interested in education. But sometimes for the students, decisions are made by parents, or sometimes they are made by students, but not because NUS is so good in education as a university or in Singapore, but probably because they have very cool outdoor activities, and you can see that Facebook have detected that and labeled this image and NUS as outdoor activity. And those people who like outdoor activities in their content might match very well to this NUS audience and might even decide to study there. But we need to know this. We need to know all these insights. Facebook knows this. We need to find a way how to get this insight forward. My point is that targeting through one burger is probably not the same way as if you will be able to utilize big data and AI tools for big data references. And coming back to the long tail distributions, just to explain this term in the very end. Long tail distribution is those categories that are less popular, but not less relevant. If they're less popular, as you can see in a Y scale, they are also less expensive. But it doesn't mean they're not relevant to people. It doesn't mean that people will not convert through these categories. So if you choose to advertise through this burger, you will get your people. You'll get some audience that for very, very high price will be, probably some of them will convert, even though they're tired of your ads already and your competitor ads. But if you will be able to find all these categories that each cost you only $1, then you'll be able to reach way more people at much lower price, but not necessarily lower efficiency. In fact, it shows that quite often these people haven't seen any your ads and your competitor ads before, so they're much more likely to engage with you as compared to those audiences that already get the ad fatigue on the very top of the distribution. Why it's called long tail? Because it's like a really long tail. You can see that this dinosaur have long tail, and this called head of the distribution because it's very huge, very expensive, and it's not this like a few very popular items. They are more generic. So this key takeaways, right, for the first part of this webinar, and basically social media and internet is very huge, and we need to have a right mindset to understand it and to work with it. Second, of course, competition is a key for pricing, and if you manage to find this long tail bidding and long tail categories that really can help us, that really help us to conquer the competition. There are many free tools that are for effective digital, and these tools I have shown 5 of them. I have invited one of my colleagues to show you one more that a little bit more automated and more sophisticated than those free tools. He will be coming immediately next. But there are many tools to help you. And if you know how to use these tools smartly, these tools will save you much more money than you'll be spending on them, because budgets might vary greatly. Sometimes these tools can serve you like up to 20 to 40 times compared to what you do before, as without full understanding how it works. It's not a rocket science. It's get applied everywhere, and it's just mathematical models. And AI being applied against another AI on another site on Facebook can can be making these ads much more efficiently, again, if you understand it and if you really know how this works. So I would like to give a word now to my colleague Hendrik. He is working in a company called Somin.ai. He wants to introduce another tool for you. And then it will just take maybe 15 minutes. And after that, I will be sharing with you how you can leave feedback for the course and also download the free book that goes a bit more into detail regarding this topic. Hi, Hendrik.
Hi, Alex. How are you? Long time no see. Good. Hi, my name is Hendrik. I'm working with Alex in Singapore on a company called Somin.ai. You're still sharing your screen? Wait, let me share my screen. And host disabled the sharing of the screen. That's unfortunate. I think somebody has to give me the privileges. I would like to enlighten you in the next probably 10 minutes. We developed a tool how to use everything that Alex told you on social media. I will explain Facebook. We can do Google and Twitter, and of course Instagram, which is part of Facebook. But I would like to just give you a short glimpse how we can do that. Still cannot share the screen. Sorry.
Yep.
Can I do it now? No. Well, basically I can start with the introduction. So the key here that Alex described is the targeting problem. So how do you target right? Obviously, if you target hamburgers or French fries, you might end up paying a very high price. Then I will show you how we use AI to find you the right targeting, the right optimization, and also how we match the right content to your advertisements. Now it works. Thank you, Alex. Good. Can everybody see my screen? Should be. Alex, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
You're the only one who can talk. And at the end, I would like to show you some results as well that we achieved over. The company now is active for 2 years. I was an early investor in the company, and I got fascinated by what Alex and Kirill did. So I decided to join the company on a full-time basis. And I would really like to show you now how this theory that Alex showed you, how you could take these learnings and then develop your own strategy and also get very good results on Facebook. So the problem that Alex described is there's a lot of money is spent on creating creatives, copywriting, story, strategy. That's where the advertising agencies make the big dollars. But then when you put this great creative, and this is definitely much better done by humans than by AI, when you put that on digital media, there might be a non-efficient act, and it might be a key cost factor. So we are coming into this because we believe that AI can do this job much better than a human could do. You can do it with humans. You can hire hundreds of humans that can look at all the stuff that Alex just told you and use some free tools. But you can also hire for the fraction of the cost a company like ours that would help you with that. So our claim is that we make digital ads 30% more cost efficient via, one is targeting. Then there's also optimization. And what I explained before, we can pre-select creatives and help you to show the creative to the right target audience. And this all together leads to at least 30% better performance, at least. So as I said, we worked for a couple of years now. 2017, the company was founded. Then we had a year of learning and programming. And we started with pilot clients. Now we work in 8 markets all over Asia Pacific and the UAE. We have 25 clients, and we're very confident, as I said before, to do a 30% performance increase. So how do we do this? What makes us different? When we do advertising, or when people do advertising, generally they start with a demographic. We do the same. So the client gives us a demographic and says, like, this is what we think our target audience should look like. And then with our AI, we're able to, inside this target audience, we're able to find psychographics. So we're able to find very granular audiences that resonate with the product, that resonate with the advertisements. And we basically help on 2 sides. So one side is the advertiser wouldn't spend that much budget. So he or she gets more efficiency. But on the other side as well, what Alex described, like ad fatigue, and you see too many pictures of burgers. So if you work at McDonald's or if you work at Pizza Hut and you see fast food commercials because Facebook classified you that way, it might not be very beneficial. So we find out what really makes you tick and what helps you to connect. So we show you relevant content. Let me show you how we do this. So we look at a lot of look at Facebook's labeling process, and we I wouldn't say reverse engineer, but we look at that and we get inspired by that. So we look at a lot of data on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, and most of this data is pictures. So 70 to 80% of the information that we get is visual. So we can identify objects, colors, etc., and we're language agnostic by that. Then we look in step 2 with computer vision and language tools, we look at all these factors, get the data from Facebook, and then do what Alex did in his PhD, a psychographic profiling in step 3, where we can say, okay, this person is predicted this way, this person is predicted this way. And then, because we not interested really in a personal image, but then we group these people together into statistically relevant audiences that the AI thinks are relevant. And then we can run combinations of hundreds of audiences, depending on content, timing, and also give the continuous optimization. This sounds all very complicated. I would like to show you a short video how this works in reality. So basically, in our platform that you saw there, you can say, create a campaign, then you type in your campaign, you decide what kind of campaign objectives you want to achieve. Then do you want to be on Facebook or on Instagram? What is the age group that you want to do? Do you want to advertise to all genders or just men? Then you can include and exclude all locations, and that works worldwide. So we only picked one. You put in the budget. You tell us when you want to run this campaign, even down to the minute when you want to run it. Then you can select your Facebook page. Of course, that would be yours, but we have many clients there that we select. You look for the creative asset that you want to put on. You have your text in your clipboard, put that on, voila, the preview is there. And then basically at the end, you just launch it and it will pop up in our platform. So our platform, as for those of you who do advertising on Facebook, looks exactly the same as the Facebook Ad Manager. And then you can see there all the ad sets. For this campaign, for instance, we could create up to 200 ad sets within this time frame right now. They would now going on Facebook. There would be a vetting process by Facebook and a learning process, but usually after 3 to 4 hours, these ads start delivering. If you try this as a human, this would take you, let's say, only if we assume you would have 50 ad sets, this would take you an entire day. Plus, you would not be able to target very granular. Here you see now on the screen the granularity of the targeting. Still a very broad audience, but if you look at the inclusions and exclusions, so here you see the inclusions, and as Alex explained, Facebook labels you maybe sometimes in a very non-human way. We find all these, our platform labels or is able to look at the pictures that we find on Twitter and Instagram and basically assess categories in the thousands, and we can target this way. So you can do this just by a click of a mouse, and our clients run this platform and can create many campaigns during the day, freeing them up from doing the nitty-gritty on Facebook and typing everything in and being ready for strategic work. I would like to give you a couple of examples where we worked always with a client. And what we normally do, we do a side-by-side comparison at the beginning with a traditional setup. So in this case, for McDonald's, that was an agency OMD in Thailand. And we compared in a trial with the same budget, same creative, same time frame. And because our AI was learning continuously, we're able to give them a lower CPM, that is a measure by Facebook, cost per mille, by 85%, and a 438% better reach. A lot of people now say, okay, this is easy. You show it to the cheapest people, and there you get to these numbers. But now we're working for 1 year with Facebook with McDonald's on deliveries now, app downloads, video views, etc., etc. So they're really happy. But in order to tackle this point, we don't show it to the cheapest people. I show you another slide of a company in Singapore called Mothercare. And we were able to, and they did a very good job before we came in. So before they spent $1 on Facebook and they got $6.37 in sales. We were able to come in, and in a very short time, we leveraged that ROAS to almost $12. So we lowered their cost per click and we got them a much higher ROAS. And right now we're operating with them on an even higher ROAS than that, over $20. We can also do that for awareness. So what I described before, we can do it on anything that Facebook allows you to optimize. Here we did it for awareness for Audi in Taiwan. Same creative, same budget, same time frame, and we were able to get 81% higher reach, of nearly 50% more clicks, and most importantly, a lower cost per click. But really also here's another example. So this was all about Facebook. 80% of our clients want Facebook, but we can also do Google. But also in Google here, we're able, with this long tail targeting that Alex described, to get 33 times more traffic, 15% higher interaction rate. But most importantly, for all our clients, we dropped the cost per click substantially. And therefore, basically the platform pays for itself. Talking about pricing, we're software as a service, and the pricing depends on basically the usage, the features, how many countries you want to operate in. But we are very confident that with the efficiencies that we realize, we actually make money for the company. In summary, so targeting is the start, what Alex described. Then optimization, our AI optimizes every 12 hours, is the key. And we can boost any KPI on Facebook that you would like to boost. And our software will do the heavy lifting and free up your team for more strategic tasks that you might have. That was in a nutshell. If you want to know more about Somin, you can contact me at henrik@somin.ai, or you can send me a WhatsApp, or you give me a call. But I think a lot of people already looked at our homepage and followed our LinkedIn. These are the best contact points, and we will be very happy to hear from you after this seminar. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Henrik. Thanks for the nice introduction. Yeah, Somin is one of the platforms that help you to do this effective targeting more effective. It make it work better for you, and to really use AI to optimize your ads. We actually have written a little bit, more extended guide on AI influencer marketing, AI and AI-driven ads, long tail targeting, in a book that you can see in your screen. You can take a QR code, you can scan a QR code, or you can just type the link below, bit.ly webaidm, and you can download this book. Is 15 to 20 minutes read. That's a free ebook that you can really go into more details. And we, of course, very happy to also reply all your questions. So I get 2 questions here. Okay, I get 3 questions here. Basically, what is the more important, having dynamic content or AI-driven ads when it comes to Facebook advertisement? By dynamic, I mean refreshing content regularly, content that appeals to the target customers, copywriting, etc. I'm going to answer this question now. Just for your information, in front of you, there's also the form that you could fill in, and would be really appreciate if you can all give us some feedback of how would you like this, how do you like this seminar, what is our next topics you would like to discuss. So we will be creating a new seminar on influencer marketing and psychographic marketing further. So we would like to incorporate your feedback into that. So take your time to also fill in the form while I'm answering the questions. So the question was basically, how does dynamic ads help? And what is more important? Is dynamic content or AI-driven ads? What is more important? The answer is both, because when it comes to dynamic content that you constantly change, it helps to engage your audiences with a new angle, with a new view. So you wouldn't be reaching ad fatigue. When people will be seeing different ads, different times, they will be having a pleasant experience with your brand. And if you will be leading this through the funnel, you could, in the first time, show something more abstract and educational, and the second time you might show something a little bit more specific, and then the third time it might even convert, or retargeting, it might even convert your lead to become your customer. So dynamic content, as content marketing, extremely important, and this what everybody must do, and that's where AI can help, but nothing can replace your creativity. So this is what we need human. When it comes to optimization, it's about targeting this content and continuously monitoring who responding and who not. And if people don't respond, don't spend budgets on them. If people respond, then spend budgets on them more to gain more leads, to gain more conversions. this can be done with the same content, but if content is dynamic at the same time, let's say Facebook have dynamic ads and for example, SoMin platform can generate new copies of your content automatically with some minor filter modifications, with some different backgrounds to A/B test which leads respond to what. Then these two things come together, become really very powerful, because different types of people at different times see different content that appeals particularly their personality. This changes over time, and in case some part become not efficient, AI will switch it off. It will do it at 5 a.m. for you. You wouldn't be doing it by yourself, and it will do it across 6,000, 8,000 ad sets, as Henrik just showed, but not through maybe few ad sets that will be running by yourself. Again, it doesn't mean you need to use a platform. If your brand is a certain level of scale, it will require a little bit more of AI automation. But if you're just starting your AI ads, really do more content, try different types of targeting. And when you target, don't rely on your guesswork and common sense, because there's no such thing as common sense in social media when it comes to Facebook. Rely on tools that you are using, not just from Facebook, but also from Google, also from WordStream, also from SoMin, if you are a little bit outgrown this initial stage of digital advertisement. So this is my answer. It's both very important. And if you manage to do both, then you will be definitely a leader in your industry for digital marketing. But you need to have a team for that, right? It's all cost resources to gain people for that. So how do you evaluate whether targeting the long tail customers is cost effective? Well, this is a very good question. And luckily, in digital media, in programmatic buying, we have a very good ways to evaluate this. If you just do like a TV advertisement, right? You know how many TVs was on, if it's cable TVs or whatever, but you don't really know how many people really go and purchase based on that. But if you do advertisements on social, you can track everything. And if you have Pixel installed, if you have Google Analytics installed, you can see the whole customer journey from your ad to landing page, from landing page into the actual final page where they can convert an e-commerce, or where they can get coupon and then convert in a brick and mortar store. So when you run long tail keywords, let's say in Google, you always able to track which keywords exactly bring traffic to your website. And if these keywords that bring traffic are those cheap but yet relevant keywords, which is of course click-through rate, how often people click your ad, of course, how often people transit from your landing back to, let's say, your catalog, sales catalog, then you can say that long tail targeting helps. And that's how we measured it, for example, for Mothercare, right? It's 30 times 3 more traffic. But most important for us is that at the same time, interaction rate is also higher. So it's 33 times more people, but with a lower cost, but also it's more relevant people. These people tend to stay with us longer, tend to have lower bounce rates, tend to have longer duration of the stay, and as well as transition within a website into the conversion funnel in the end, right? So once you have this infrastructure set for you tracking, your campaign performance will be easy. You can track it through conversions, you can track it through traffic. What you probably wouldn't want to do is benchmark your results based on the reach, because that might not be the relevant audience, even it's cheap, right? So that's you might want not to do, but the rest in digital programmatic is very easy to track. Then I got another question. How different is Facebook A/B testing? How do get hold of category, long tail categories from Facebook? Okay, I'll answer first. How different is from Facebook A/B testing? Facebook A/B testing allows you to test 4 audiences that you set up. It guarantees you that these 4 audiences wouldn't overlap, but it's up to you how many audiences how you'll be defining these audiences. And then in the end, Facebook will tell you, okay, this is the audience you want to use, or maybe it will tell you, okay, this is the content you want to use if you're doing content A/B testing. If you do multivariates, then it will tell you this is the audience and content you want to use. In terms of AI systems, when you, let's say, use SoMin platform, you can run 200 immediately 200 audiences. And you will not need like 7 days to figure out what works. AI will figure out what works, switch on that, and switch off the rest. But overall, Facebook A/B testing is quite useful features if you don't use these large-scale automation tools. So, for example, you can go into WordStream, get some keywords from there, put as test A. Go into Google Keywords Planner, get from there, put a test B. Go to Facebook Audience Insights, go into likes and groups, test 4. Test 5 could be your lookalike audience. Test 6 can be your retargeting through CRM, and then you can A/B test these groups. Drawback, you will exhaust these audiences very fast. So you will need to get more interest-driven audiences. And then the question is, again, how to get them? Well, using tools, using analytics, understanding how it works. The second question is, how do you get hold of category, long-tail categories from Facebook? Not fully understand the question, but basically, I assume that this question is more about how do you come up with these categories? And how do you make sure that these categories are, well, once you find them, you can use this category in the future. So the first question, the first part is, well, to come up with them, you need to use the tools, analytical tools, basically to try to get this data about user behavior, real-time user behavior, as from many sources as possible. Google, WordStream, you can even use some social bakers and other platforms that give you some hints of what's happening around. But also at the same time, there is one drawback here is that once you get some category that works you today, after 2 weeks or even earlier, it might stop work for you. And you have to rediscover these new categories every time and A/B test continuously. And that takes a lot of time. So I think if in your company you have adapted this continuous A/B testing and your budgets really become bigger, well, maybe up to more than $5,000 per month or more than $10,000 per month, then of course you can substantially save by using some automation tools. If your budget is, let's say, just within 1K, you can still do it manually because Facebook will be favoring you first. It will be trying to give you better impressions because they'll try to hook you into the advertisement platform. But it's good for you. You'll get cheaper price and better results. And also you can start testing all these different sources that Facebook provide. Custom audience, lookalike audience. You can go into different tools, grab interest targeting from there. You can get rich interaction from your website. You can use Pixel. You can try to run engagement campaigns and retarget those engaged users as well. You can try to leverage on your organic traffic to re-engage and then A/B test through Facebook A/B testing, or even just putting them together inside the campaign budget optimization setting. And then after that, you can get quite good results. Thank you for filling up the form. I can see we are start getting responses. Please help us by contributing your feedback about this seminar, about this webinar, so we can have a better experience for you when we will be doing next time. So this is very important. You can also get your book, and we will be happy to get your feedback of our book about these topics before next seminar, so I can cover all your questions. I'm always happy to answer this question to you when you have these questions to us. So I have another question. Are there any minimal budgets that you work with? If you are talking about SoMin, I would say yes, there really requires some minimal budget, because if you have thousands of micro audiences, they need some budget to spend in order to figure out where to really spend your budget to convert the most people. So I would say a few $1,000s per month is important to spend in order to really leverage on it. When it comes to using simple tools that I explained to you in the beginning, there's no budget limitation as long as you're willing to spend, I don't know, $500, $300 to try Facebook. I really encourage you to do so. Try, use all these tools, discover new tools for yourself, and let us know which worked for you. We will be really happy to help. We have discussions in our group. We have emails. We're really happy to advise you on how to boost your first digital marketing efforts. Yeah, so I will be leaving this screen for a while in front of you. We also will be here for a little while, maybe for 5-10 more minutes. So please ask your questions, and we're really looking forward to getting your feedback through the forum. We will be also conducting a new seminar, which will be related to influencer marketing, as well as to psychographic marketing through AI, which is also another very important topic. It will be touching how to get the psychographics of the customer, how to understand it, how to use AI to gain these psychographics and plan your campaigns better in terms of content and targeting. So we really would like to incorporate your feedback from this seminar into next one to make your experience even better. Do you have more questions? You are welcome to speak by voice as well. We have the microphone enabled. So just click on your microphone and you can ask questions directly. Happy to answer. If you have questions to Henrik, you can also ask Henrik. He's here to answer you. I can see we are getting more feedback. Thanks for giving us the form. I also can see the downloads of the book. I hope you will enjoy that. And thanks very much for joining this. Maybe a little bit more on what we are going to do in our next seminars as well. So I just say that we are going to have one seminar related to psychographic marketing and influencer marketing, but also I wish to hear your feedback in the forum regarding whether you want to have a little bit more information on how does Facebook and Google works. So a bit deeper into this internal structure and mechanisms that define the cost of your ads and basically help you to plan your marketing better. This is one option. Another option, of course, we can be a little bit more technical. So if some of you are really interested to know how AI works, how different models work, different feature extraction, data representation techniques work, I'll be happy to explain that in another webinar for you. So inside the forum, we actually have a feedback field saying that what you would like to hear next. And if you wish to hear these topics, please indicate it for us. We'll be very, very happy to respond. Okay, I see another question. How do you get Facebook data? So yeah, so Facebook data, well, I assume you are asking about SoMin platform, but I would also not just answer about SoMin, but I will also answer it about in general. So Facebook has their APIs, right? These APIs help you to gain way more insights as compared to what you can get from your direct dashboards like Facebook Audience Insights and Facebook Targeting Dashboard when you set up a targeting in your advertiser manager. So through this API, you can actually get real-time insights on what's happening, and this is how the platform works. It actually produces this analytics and also optimizes your ads on the fly. So because of this analytics and because system can run it, well, every second if you want to, or in fact it's happening every half an hour, every hour, 1 hour, it can continuously adjust bidding, continuously adjust the targeting, the placement, and that really, really helps to optimize the performance of your campaign. So as Henrik say, optimization is the key, and that's what's happening. So this is one type of Facebook data we have. Another type of Facebook data is what is public data that people willing to share on their Instagram, which is part of Facebook, on their Facebook profiles, or data that Facebook releases to its partners about the current ads that are running by whole the industry, all the data that Facebook releases in their called public stream API, that is data from Facebook users that they publish publicly. All this information can be aggregated. Machine learning can be applied on that, and from there, machine learning can understand what is it data is about. once it understands, it can split people into many, many groups. And once these groups get pushed into Facebook and Google, targeting and execution become very effective. So that's how the whole pipeline works, as Henrik was showing a slide on that. So basically from collection of the data through the APIs and various sources, to profiling through AI, to clustering into micro-personas to execution. And then this happens continuously all the time, 24 hours, 7 days per week. This is a key. I have another question. Hi, Alex. Like the webinar, very insightful. My question is, if our target market is technology late adopters who rarely use social media, would you say AI can still take part of optimizing our marketing strategy? Few months ago, I would say, well, that's challenging. Now I can say that we have several partners and clients in SoMean that are actually purely in B2B space. They are not in technological space, they're in B2B space, but they are selling the platform, the SaaS platform for investment. And so far, the results is that the cost per click, well, this is like a middle of the funnel, cost per click is at least 2 times lower than wherever traditional setup they have, which is lookalikes, which is custom audience targeting, which is custom audiences, which is the interest targeting to very specific category. So my answer is yes, Facebook could be powerful in B2B and also in for those audiences that adopt technology slower, because you don't need to be really actively contributing into social media in order to receive ads. And ads not just comes through Facebook, ads also comes through the partner network of Facebook, which is a website, which is other places where those people are all stay, and that helps. And of course, if you want to go more into B2B and technological space, it will be also Twitter ads, and as well as a LinkedIn ads, networking. The last one are very expensive, but again, being targeted smartly and set up smartly, they help you to figure out the best campaign and like really drive results very nicely. So just to summarize, if somebody uses social media rarely, it doesn't matter, because we can reach them through the ads, which they may see not even on Facebook. They may see it on a website, as long as they use internet, as long as they have smartphone, mobile phone, or smartphone, have to be smartphone, right? Then Facebook can reach them, as well as Google. They have these audience networks that pretty much monopolize the market of programmatic media buying, and then they partner all these websites to show the ads. So in your placement settings, you can just set up that I want to show through the audience networks, target these people there. Okay, I can see that. Well, thank you very much. You are filling a feedback form and you are really helping us. I think I can see that few of attendees haven't filled yet, but you will have chance to do so after the seminar. So what's going to happen next is Eventbrite or some other channel from us. We will send you the form. We will send you this picture. We will send you all the links where you still can fill in the feedback form and download the book. And when you read the book, please also feel free to ask questions and give us feedback to you. We will be really building our next webinar based on your feedback. So please make sure that you spend a few minutes of your time to contribute to the form, to the feedback form that we are sharing with you. I don't have any other questions. And if you don't have questions that you want to speak out now, then I guess we could finish. Let me check. Yeah. Okay, so all these questions have been answered already. Okay, I get one more question. The question is from Michelle. Do you think blockchain advertisement may become a growing platform? For example, the ads are paid on the advertisements themselves, like BBC Guardian, rather than going through Facebook. I I think that, well, first of all, I had just this morning, I had a business meeting with one of our partners in US who has exactly blockchain-based advertisement system called One World. You can Google that, called One World. They partner us on as a distribution channel in US for those brands that want to utilize Facebook, Google, and Instagram ads for their businesses. Definitely, this is a very crucial, especially because users will be also able to monetize their information that they willing to provide to the advertisers while getting the blockchain tokens back. So it become not like just purely B2B business also, but B2C, when all the roles come together and then communicate. The user gets some paid for getting feedback into the ads get shown, advertisers also paid through the blockchain. When you are asking when the ads are paid, the advertisers themselves, like BBC, Guardian, rather than going through Facebook, I think this might not happen in the nearest future because there is it's just like blockchain and the banks in a sense, right? It's developed, but it's very hard to conquer those monopoly companies that really occupy the market and that really fight for the market. So I would rather say that all these platforms will be evolving at the same time, trying to adapt to the new realities of the market and the new demands of the consumers, of demands of course, the customers, and also demands of the businesses who are willing to advertise. I think that we had a lot of those DSPs and ad exchanges in the past before Facebook come, and the major issue of those ad exchanges was that they were not covering enough audiences compared to what Facebook can offer by contributing also the social media audiences inside there. And that was the key why now everything, 90% of the market actually pretty much moved into Facebook and Google as the key players here. But what will happen else is that you can see that China advertisement platforms, the platforms that do mobile advertisements through, let's say, ad search, like Apple Store search, Android Store search, also advertisement systems that get by local companies such as Grab, let's say, they have their own advertisement within the apps. Like those apps that are huge, they can actually monetize the advertisement internal systems. Advertisement goes through the telcos into the to the TV, to the smart TV channels. Advertisement goes through the telcos into the apps. Those will keep growing, and then they will be competing with Facebook and Google of this world pretty much a lot, and I already can see this trend. So Facebooks and Googles will have to collaborate with them and cover them under their wing, or otherwise those guys might start become much better options for the advertisers. I think the both will be happening. Blockchain will be inside this ecosystem, and I hope blockchain can become a basis for all the ads get served, so that the advertisement will no longer be so opaque as it is at this current moment when we don't really know what's happening behind, and we have to use a lot of AI and machine learning to make it efficient rather than honestly ask advertiser to pay money for just very good quality and service that my daughter, which is 3 years old, can understand, and marketer that is 30 years old can equally understand, right? I wish this type of system will be available in the future. At this moment, so many companies building this kind of system. You can see that in our dashboard, you only have a few buttons you need to click in order to make the ads running. And this is a principle and vision. We believe it must be simple, and there must be no much guesswork involved for you. There's a big data, there's AI, there's technology. That technology is capable to make a job for you easy, and that's what it should do. We believe so. Okay. Thanks for the questions. We got questions from Michelle, from Kok. We get questions from NU. We get questions from Rainer and from Lin Taitung and from Teresa Chen, and from anybody else who have given questions to us and will be giving questions to us through the form and through our emailing me and Henrik and our team. Thank you very much for that, for supporting us. I'm getting, okay. Yeah, so this question has been answered already. So thank you very much. Would like to draw your attention one more time to the screen. We have the onboarding form, the form that helps you to give a feedback to us. So please scan the QR code or follow the URL down there. Once you fill in the form, you will receive the book and give us feedback on the form and the book. We're very happy to talk with your team as well to help you to make your ads more efficient and better. Thank you very much for being with us, and I will see you in the next webinar series by Somin AI, ICMO University, me, Alex, and Henrik Schwartz.
Yes, thank you so much for all your attention. And I wish you a very healthy and safe rest of the week.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Have a nice week.
Bye.